Today I'm going to be unboxing, setting up, and testing the Merach MR R50 Air Rowing Machine. Merach reached out to the channel and asked if I would be willing to test the machine and give my honest feedback on what I thought of the machine and also what I thought of the machine as it compares to the Concept 2. This is not a paid promotion. This is not a paid review. This is very much an initial review of this machine, as I have not had lots of time to log lots of meters to test the durability of the equipment over distance over time. Once we pop the top on the box, you can see the machine packed pretty well in a lot of styrofoam here and mostly assembled from what I can tell, wrapped in plastic underneath, so we'll pull everything out and give it a look. Instead of lifting the machine straight out of the box, found it a lot easier to lie the box on its side and slide the contents out. I will save you from the footage of me fighting with packing tape, styrofoam, and plastic. But as you can see here, from the remnants of that struggle, this machine is packed well for shipping. Now that everything is out of the box and we have all the parts that we need, the bolts, the batteries, the instruction manual, it's time to build. I built the machine myself, and even taking my time, I was able to completely build the machine within 10 minutes of getting it out of the box. So once you wrestle it free of that really secure packaging, it's a pretty easy and quick build. Well, the machine definitely looks the business, but the question that's probably on your mind and definitely on my mind is, how does it row? Always read the warnings and consult the manual before any exercise on this machine. The machine rows the way that you might expect it to, and I say the way you might expect it to because it is spec'd very similarly to a Concept 2 Model D rowing machine, and thus the resistance feels very similar in the sense that it's using wind resistance just as the Concept 2 does, and the return on the machine feels pretty smooth and pretty comfortable, allowing a free, easy float back into the front end. The machine uses air resistance just like the Concept 2 Model D, and has the same adjustability from level 1 through 10, 1 being the easiest setting and 10 being the hardest setting. At a level 1, we are closing this fan, decreasing the amount of airflow in and out. At level 10, we are opening the fan, increasing the amount of airflow in and out. Drum steam's pretty sturdy, pretty smooth in terms of the movement up and down. All in all, a pretty familiar look and feel. I stopped taking strokes on this machine well over a minute, almost 2 minutes ago, and it's nice to see that the fan has continued to move very freely until right about now. Foot strap system looks pretty familiar. You have these two rings here on one on either side. It pulls the Velcro back, loosens the straps so you can adjust and slide your feet in. Has the ability to pull the tongue back and raise and lower the feet. One of the first things that I notice about the machine is that when I set my feet to the height that I like them to be when I am on a rowing machine, I notice that the straps are further up towards my toe. On most rowing machines, I'm used to the strap being right across the widest part of my foot, or close to it for that matter, as opposed to closer to the toes. Having said this, it does not seem to be affecting the rowing motion. It's not necessarily uncomfortable on the toes, although I haven't done a ton of meters on this machine yet. I haven't seemed to have any problems with this wider strap which runs across the foot at a higher position towards the toe than I'm used to. Obviously, with the strap higher up, it is not getting in the way with any of the action as I move into the front end and my heels start to rise. One thing that is a little bit different is the flexibility in the heel cups in terms of how they lift. Out of the box, a little bit of restriction in terms of the movement of the heel cups off of the foot plates. Right now, as I roll forward, I can feel my heels slipping a little bit in the back of my shoes because this piece of plastic is a little less forgiving. I wonder if more meters on this machine will loosen up that heel cup and the corresponding plastic that attaches to it so that there is an easier lift of the heel, that slight lift as we come in. One thing I am noticing on the recovery of the rowing stroke on this machine is that this seat does not move freely from the finish back to the front end. As you can see, it moves a little and it gets stuck. What I can't figure out is whether or not this rail doesn't have just enough angle to facilitate that free float of the seat back forward, or if it has to do with the wheels themselves, the plastic wheels, and how well greased or lack of greased they are. I do intend to put some lubricant into the seat to see if that changes the problem. But as an initial review out of the box, we're not getting that free movement here. It is slightly noticeable on the recovery, and the recovery is the portion that we don't want to do any work on our way back to the front end. So there's just a little bit of insistence, if you will, necessary to get the seat moving back into the front end. That said, once it starts moving and we start floating forward, it's not really that noticeable. But in the initial change of direction from the finish, as you start to move into the front end of the stroke, there's a little bit of effort required to get that motion going. After rowing some meters on the machine, taking some strokes, I can tell you this is a comfortable seat. It is pliable. It is still sturdy and durable, but a little bit softer than what you may be used to if you're used to rowing on a Concept 2. The handle on the machine is very similar to that of the Concept 2. The grips on the handle, on the other hand, are slightly different. I can't tell you exactly what material they're made of, but they have less of a feel that is similar to the Concept 2. This machine is listed at over 73 pounds, while a Concept 2 Model D is listed at under 60, I believe around 57 pounds. And I am at a loss for where the extra weight comes in. The machines look exactly the same. I don't know what components are different that would make this machine heavier. That said, if you're not having to pick this machine up off the ground and move it somewhere, the wheels that are at the front of the machine allow you to just lift up the rail and navigate and move this machine pretty easily. It rolls pretty easily, stores the same way that a Concept 2 does. You tilt it up and you can store it upright, has about the same footprint. So who is this rowing machine for? I think this rowing machine is for someone who might like something akin to the Concept 2, but wants it at a cheaper price point. But this machine is not for someone who needs a Concept 2 because they are conducting workouts or testing, submitting scores. I'm not sure that these scores, any scores achieved on this machine, would be recognized in the same way that they're recognized for Concept 2, which is the industry standard. I don't know that it works off of exactly the same formula that a Concept 2 does, so I can't tell you whether or not the results that are achieved on this machine are going to be exactly the same as the Concept 2. To that end, I haven't been able to dive into any of the apps that Merach recommends that you can use with this machine. One is their own personal fitness app, which you need to subscribe to, and another is known as KinoMap, which I believe you also need to subscribe to. But for now, I'd like to make the comparison between the monitors, simply the monitors themselves, between the Concept 2 and between the Merach monitor, without getting into the apps and how apps can help unlock greater data and metrics for each machine. The monitors are pretty similar in terms of what they provide data-wise, but they're very different in how they provide it. For Concept 2, you can rely on a steady screen, so every single stroke as you're rowing, you can expect to see the same data on the screen. What is different here with Merach is that they have two screens that show basically all of the data that they would like to provide you with, and it rotates through those screens. So you'll have to forgive me if I overlook the function or the button that I need to press to keep it locked into one screen, but I've not yet been able to find that. As I become more and more accustomed with the screen and how to use it, I can follow up with further details either in the description, in comments, or even do another video after I've gotten more meters and a better understanding of how this machine works. The monitor on this machine comes with a phone and tablet holder at the base. There's nothing to secure it on the top, but if you were to angle the monitor back and take your tablet or phone and place it, it does remain pretty firmly in this little holder. I can imagine that having this tablet holder and phone holder available if and when you were to upload the apps would improve the overall experience. I may explore those software offerings on my own sometime soon, and if I do, I will definitely review them and let you know how valuable they are. My initial assessment is that the machine seems to be well built, seems to be sturdy, and seems to be durable. I will likely have a follow-up review where I've had enough time on this machine to run it through the paces and give you a full assessment on its durability. If you found this review useful, please like, subscribe, and know there'll be even more content about this machine and rowing in general coming to you soon.